Om Gam Ganapatye Namaha. Kaliyugada Kalpataru, the fifth delight. Shri Raghavendra Gurusarvabhauma. Chapter 122. The decision to conclude the Incarnation. Shri Raghavendra Swamigalu, understanding that the duties he had to perform for the sake of the people of the world has come to a close, resolved, according to the divine will of Sri Hari, to bring his incarnation work to an end. To successfully carry out this task, Sri Padangalavaru summoned his close associates from Kumbakonam, including Venkatanaranacharya, Naranacharya, Govindacharya, and especially Diwan Venkanapant, and one day he held a confidential consultation in solitude. Sri Guru Rayaru informed them all that in accordance with the inspiration and the will of Sri Hari and Sri Vayu, he would soon complete his incarnation and enter the Vrindavana alive in his physical form. Hearing these words from the Guru felt like a thunderbolt striking the hearts of all present. They were shaken, agitated and overwhelmed. They stood confused, stricken with sorrow and despair at the thought that their liberating Guru was about to leave them as orphans. Tears of grief flowed uncontrollably from their eyes. None could find words to speak. All sat frozen in stunned silence. At that moment, Venkatanaranacharya, son of the Guru's elder brother from his pre-monastic life, filled with anguish, submitted. Mahaswami, have we committed any offense against you? Is it just to make us all of us orphans so suddenly? As for Sri Lakshmi Naranacharya, son of Sri Padangalavaru himself, it felt as if the very sky had collapsed and fallen upon his head. Disoriented and unable to withstand the wave of grief, he washed the Guru Rayaru's feet with his tears, praying, Mahaswami, please change this decision and protect us all. We do not have the strength to bear the sorrow of separation from our Guru's feet. Please show mercy. Sri Rayaru gently stroked Lakshmi Naranacharya's head, held his shoulders and raised him up, saying, Lakshmi Narayana, Venkatanarayana, why are you behaving like children? You are well versed in all scriptures and are thoughtful by nature. Should you lose composure like this? None of you have committed any kind of offense. This is my decision. We have taken in accordance with the divine will of Sri Hari. That is my sankalpa. Once someone is born as a human, the depth to this earth must come to an end someday, mustn't it? Do you recall the prediction made a few years ago in Kumbakonam by 3 astrologers? One of them had foretold that our lifespan would be 100 years and that we might become invisible around the 78th or 80th year. Do you remember that? Another astrologer had predicted that we would live for 700 years. Do you not recall that? We accepted both of these predictions as true. Now, both prophecies are going to manifest as true. By entering the Vrindavana in physical form and becoming invisible to the eyes of the worldly people, the first prediction will come true. And by being present in the Vrindavana in physical form for 700 years, engaged in penance and devotion to Sri Hari for the welfare of the world, and by protecting those who had taken refuge in us, the second prediction too shall be fulfilled. This is Sri Hari's will. Hence, it is inevitable. All of you must give up your needless sorrow and distress, and with a smile, assist in fulfilling this noble wish of ours, aligning yourselves with the divine will. It is for this reason that I have called all of you and openly shared this decision. Our decision is final. There is no use in grieving. It may even go against the will of Sri Hari. Hearing this, everyone bowed their heads and sat silently. Then Sri Rayaru said, Now, please listen carefully as we speak about the matters related to Mahasamsthana that we are about to undertake. Diwan Venkanapant, who was seated with his head bowed, folded his hands and submitted, Guruvarya, as one who is orphaned, the grief from this matter is unbearable to me. Then, how great must be the shock for these dear ones, who from their very childhood have seen your countless noble qualities and compassion. and have considered you their everything. Swami, who can go against your command? Let your will be done. Sri Rayaru, with a compassionate and graceful gaze, looked upon everyone and said, "No one should act against the will of Sri Hari. We understand your pain. It is a reflection of the profound devotion you have for us. But what can be done? You must endure the grief of our separation. You, who are our beloved disciples and family, must act with courage." One matter has been resolved. Now we will share with you our decision and thoughts about the future arrangement of the Mahasamsthana. Saying this, he cast a meaningful glance towards Narayanacharya, his beloved disciple and nephew from his pre-monastic life. As soon as Sri Rayaru's words reached him, it felt as if electricity surged through Narayanacharya's body. He recalled the earlier private conversation held in Kumbhakona with Guru Rayaru regarding the future of the Mahasamsthana, and he was filled with ecstasy. This great seat, that is Mahapita of Srimadacharya, established by the Supreme Being Shri Hamsanamaka Paramatma, upon which we now reside, is supremely sacred. It must continue to uphold its duties as long as the sun and moon exist, becoming widely revered and engaged in the holistic upliftment of all virtuous people. Through the teachings and propagation of our scriptures, the ascetic masters who adore this seat must continue the philosophy of Srimadacharya and keep the lamp of knowledge burning bright. For this great endeavor to succeed, just as Srimadacharya once did, we too must choose those worthy to govern this Mahapita. We have already made this decision. Narayana is aware of this matter. In due time, our Narayana will share it with all of you. We have selected 4 individuals worthy to govern this Mahapita after us. Hereafter, in this seat of learning, that is Vidya Simhasana of Sri Sarvagna, our pre-monastic lineage shall continue as a tradition. They shall actively engage in the dissemination of spiritual knowledge and dharma, in the welfare of the world, and in the multifaceted development of the Dvaita Siddhanta. They shall continue the unbroken tradition of teaching and discourse carried forward from the lineage of Srimadacharya, Padmanabha Tirtharu, Jaya Tirtharu, Vibhutendra Tirtharu, and Vijayendra Tirtharu. This is the wish of Sri Moolarama. It is the will of Sri Madhvacharya and Tikacharyaru. In accordance with their inspiration, we have made this decision. Following us in succession, our dear disciples, Sri Yogendra Tirtharu, Sri Surendra Tirtharu, Sri Sumatendra Tirtharu, and Sri Upendra Tirtharu must manage this Mahasamsthana. Hearing this, all began to wonder, who might this fortunate ones be? At that moment, Sri Rayaru looked at Venkata Narayanacharya with a smiling face and said, "Venkata Narayana, do you know who these 4 blessed ones are? They are your sons, Venkana, Vasudeva, Muddu Venkatakrishna, and Vijayendra. And after them, as the 5th in the line, this Srinivasa too shall ascend this Mahapita and earn great fame. This too is the will of Sri Hari and Sri Vayu." Saying this, he pointed to the 1.5-year-old boy Srinivasa, grandson of his pre-monastic son Lakshmi Narayanacharya, who was sitting on the lap of Sripada Lakshmi Narayanacharya, and placed his hand upon the boy's head, blessing him. Hearing Sripadangaru's words, everyone was overwhelmed with amazement and filled with blissful joy. It thrilled Diwan Venkana Pant, his body trembling with hair standing on end, exclaimed, "Mahaswami, then that Vrindavana?" Smiling gently, Sri Avaru replied, "Yes, the Vrindavana is reserved for him." Venkana Pant stood speechless, marveling at the Guru's far-sightedness, profound foresight, and his immense divine glory that enabled him to decide everything in advance. Sri Rayaru's decision eventually came to fruition. Later, after Sri Upendra Tirtharu, Srinivasacharyaru became the head of the Mahasamsthana under the name Sri Vadendra Tirtharu, and became universally revered as the moon of both lineages. It was the same beautiful Vrindavana which Venkannapant had first prepared that, as per Sri Rayaru's prophetic words, became the Vrindavana of Sri Vadhendra Tirtharu. Even today, anyone can see the beautiful Vrindavana of Sri Vadhendra Tirtharu, which stands beside Sri Rayaru's own. Hari Om. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.